Most salaried Indians think financial freedom needs a business, inheritance, or one lucky investment. But today's guest, Amrendra Shukla, built 15 crore net worth while being a simple salaried person. But that's not the most interesting part. The real question is how did he know this number was enough to call himself financially free? Let's find out today. Hi, Amrendra. Welcome to the long game. Your story is the kind of story a lot of salaried Indians want to understand properly. So let's start with the biggest question. When did you first feel that, okay, now I'm financially free? Was it like a number, like a passive income, or like what was it?
So it was not a number per se, it was passive income. So the moment I started seeing that, hey, look, I'm now getting passive income equivalent to my monthly compensation. I can decide whether to work, not to work, where to work, how to work. So work become an optional, and probably will be able to take some brute choices in terms of picking up the work. I
Mm.
think that's when we realized that, hey, look, I'm now sorted at least.
Got it. So, did you have like a single fire number in mind or some passive income in mind that, okay, once I reach this passive income, then I'll consider myself as financially free?
So when I realized that, now I am financially free, I never envisaged any numbers, so to say, that, hey, look, I'm
Mm.
chasing numbers. I was chasing more of a passive income per se, wherein the whole objective was to produce passive income equivalent to your monthly expenses. So if that started coming, then you can presume to be a financially independent. And if these passive income is coming from the asset classes which are able to beat the inflation numbers,
Mm.
plus some couple of 1 or 2 or 3 percentages. So I was chasing this methodology rather than chasing an absolute number. So it was not a 10 crore or a 12 crore or a 15 crore number. It was to the tune of that, hey, look, if I'm able to generate 2.5 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees of passive income, then it makes a lot of sense for us to at least realize that, hey, look, I'm sorted.
Got it. So I speak to a lot of people, right? And most of them they want to live like a life of luxury or leisure after they become financially independent, right? So when you are calculating this, like what was the annual expense number that you decided when you were calculating this? Was it based on your current lifestyle or was it like a I want to be more comfortable than this when I'm actually financially free?
In a country like India, irrespective of the city you pick it up to retire, whether it's a tier 1 or a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, I believe if your residence is sorted, you are not in debt and not paying EMIs, then I think 2.5 lakh rupees is a good handsome amount of income to live a very comfortable life, irrespective of the city you pick up to retire. So that was the number I was looking at it. That if you are able to generate 2.5 lakh rupees, then I think you are comfortably retired. You won't be able to travel in a chartered plane, but you can afford to have a business class probably once in a year when you are planning to go out for a vacation, right? So that was the logic.
So coming back to that 2.5 lakh rupees, right? Like how did you plan of getting that passive income? Because 2.5 lakhs is not that easy in terms of passive income, right? So how did you manage that? How did you plan for that?
So, as a first ladder, I look at it differently. Making 2.5 lakh rupees of passive income is not that very, very difficult, especially when you have an aggressive career and you have given 100% of your efficiency in building that. I'll give you a simple simulation. So, let's say you park 2 crore rupees in FD, right? In a country like India, not putting anything in FD is a crime and putting everything in FD is a sin, right? So you need to have some sort of fixed income, right? So if you
Mm.
park 2 crore rupees in a simple, any nationalized bank or a private bank as an FD, you are gonna get a lakh rupee per month, right? Or if you are picking up a bond and deploying 2 crore rupees, you will get 1.1, 1.2 lakh rupees from that money that's sorted. And if you are able to generate a second real estate in a decent locality, which you could have purchased at 1.2 crore, now valuing at 3.5 crore, that's gonna give you another 70, 80,000 rupee rent in a city like Bangalore, in a city like Pune, in a city like NCR, in a city like Bombay.
Mm.
So if these two things are sorted, 2.5 lakh rupees or your done job. The total investment that you need to generate this 2.5 lakh rupees is probably 2 crore rupees in a mutual fund / FD. Another
Mm.
1.5 crore in a real estate. So that suffices your 2.5 lakh rupee a month. Now there could be a different debate altogether that, hey, look, your money will not grow in FD, you are putting in bonds, that's a fixed income asset, so on and so forth. But that's fine. If I'm sorted, with my household expenses that allows me to get a lot of freedom in terms of what job I am picking it up, what city I am picking it up, what career vector I am picking it up. I'll be able to make few bold calls, and probably that bold call will take care of the losses that I am losing out there in the fixed income instrument. If I'm putting that same 2 crore money into stock market, equity, mutual funds, so on and so forth, it's gonna give me 12%, 13%. That's whole of market pundits are calculating during their simulation. If I'm putting the same money into a bond, it's gonna give me 10.5%. If the same money I'm going to put in FD, it's gonna give me 7.5%. So there is a delta of 2.5%. Probably over a long period of time, 25, 30 years, it's gonna be a significant money. But if losing that 2% in a short term period for maybe another 5, 10, 15 years is allowing me or giving me a cushion to take few great calls in terms of my career progression, which can probably develop my income, active income, then I think I'm sorted. So that's how I started. The first thing I built is the real estate part. I mean, at least for me, it was a less maintenance, less volatility in terms of pricing. If the rental value of that locality is, let's say, $50,000, and if you are able to give it at 40, your tenants are gonna stay for a longer period of time. They will not create a lot of chaos. You won't see vacant houses, so on and so forth. So I always follow that principle. So my rentals will be always 10% less than the locality, so that the tenants stay for long. They don't switch too much. So first I sorted that. The second step was to deploy enough money into fixed income instrument, whether it's a bond or an FD. And that's how we were secured with 2.5 lakh rupees. And then probably we have much more free bandwidth to do other stuff altogether to generate active income.
Hey, are you guys still listening? Then hit that subscribe button. It tells me you're finding this useful and helps more people discover conversations like this. Got it. So coming back to real estate, right? Like I think that's very unique story of yours that I've heard, that you bought multiple real estate properties without taking loans. In India, most people use loans exclusively for real estate. So why did you want to avoid EMIs?
So I think debt is a trap, and debt pushes you to lock in for a longer period of time. You literally can't enjoy the yield of the real estate if you have taken a house on debt per se. So I don't know whether you have realized it or not. In my whole real estate journey, I have never purchased very flamboyant properties. So I have never invested in a property worth 2 crore, 2.5 crore, 3 crore, seaside, villa side, all those things. These are the properties which are typically ranging between 40 lakh rupees to a crore, crore and a half to the max. One, these are small size properties. They're very, very liquid. Right. So if you have a 2 BHK apartment, 1200 square feet in Marathalli, in Whitefield, in Belandur, and all those locations, pretty liquid. I mean, you can sell it in a week's time. Apparently, if you have a 4 BHK house in some other Palm Meadows, which cost you 10 crores, it's gonna take a longer period of time to sell. So deliberately, I invested in properties which are relatively small in size. I always took construction linked payment plan, wherein the simple fundamental is that 10% you will pay as an upfront. And then there are installments depending on the construction stage. Usually, if you look at the construction part, all the developers are mostly able to put 1 slab, 2 slab in a period of 6 months of time. So essentially, every 6 months you are going to pay 10%. So if I'm purchasing a 40 lakh rupees worth of property, I'm going to pay 10% over a period of 6 months of time. Right? So that's how it's been sorted. Vis-a-vis, if you take debt, let's say you purchase a property at a crore, you have given 10, 15, 20 lakh rupees as a down payment, rest 70, 80 lakh rupees is debt. Now you are paying 60, 70,000 per month as an EMI, right? Just do a simple math. Let's say for the property took 5 years to get the completion. You purchased at a crore. After completion or at the time of handover, it doubled, right? The value is 2 crores now. But what you have invested is that you have given 20 lakh rupees as a down payment. 80 lakh is the debt. On 80 lakh, you have been paying 65,000 rupees as an EMI. So 7.5 lakh rupees a year, which you are paying as an EMI. 7 lakh, 7.5 lakh into 5 years. So 40 lakh rupees you have given as an EMI till the time the property value doubled, right? And during the first 5 years, the larger chunk goes into interest and not the principal amount. So even if I want to settle up the loan after 5 years of time, out of 80 lakh debt that I have taken, usually it's gonna be 65, 70 lakh rupees is still left as a principal. So if you want to sell it across, I mean, there is hardly that you will get out of it, because the premium part you have given into an EMI. So that's what I wanted to avoid, and hence I got into mid-budget construction linked payment plans and funded it through my own income rather than debt.
Got it. So what you're saying is, let's say if there is a property, it is under construction, you pay 10% maybe upfront, and then over a period of 6 months, you keep paying some installments, and then by the time it is done with the construction, you are totally paid off, and the house is yours after the construction is done. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then after that, you can put it on rent or you can sell it or whatever you want to do with it. But this one you're talking about, let's say to generate passive income, right? But what about your own home? Is that also you have taken it like this? Because what I generally see is that, yeah, 30, 40 lakh or 50 lakh properties are good for people who want to, like, if I want to rent it out, right? But if I want to stay, I probably want to stay in like a 1.5 crore house, right? So was that your thinking as well, or you're happy with just staying in 50, 60
No,
lakh
so
house?
staying in a 1.5 crore, 2 crore property is when owning and residing. It's when you were born in Bombay. You spent your childhood in Bangalore. You are put up in US. Now, do you know that post 40, 45 city will pick up to retire peacefully? If it's not, then keep on paying rent and stay in a rented house. What sort of locality that you want to choose it?
Got it.
So unless I can confine that, hey, look, this is a city, this is a locality, I'm gonna die, I will not deploy to 2.5 crore or 2 crore capital, right? Probably the requirement that I have now versus the requirement that I'll have 15 years, 20 years later, when my kids have grown up, they have moved out of cities, they are into some jobs, so on and so forth. I can't confine that, hey, look, this is the city, this is the locality I want to buy, this is the kind of amenities that I need. Maybe I have a single child, he goes and he settles abroad. I need to find out a senior living project, right? Wherein I need some sort of an help coming in from that community. I can't afford, or even I don't want to buy a property near Manyata Tech Park wherein there is a lot of chaos. Right. I would love to buy a plot near Nandi Hills living peacefully. So it changes. So during your work time, you can figure out where to live, how to live, what amenities, so on and so forth. Be on rent. For your own use, because that's the end state wherein you are gonna reside. Pick up nicely, and there you can take a punt. But if it's an investment, then probably the logics which you were discussing.
Got it. But still, real estate comes with like a lot of maintenance and then tenant issues. I know you said low liquidity is not a problem for you. Taxes and concentration risk. So, like, why did you choose real estate over, let's say, equity market?
So equity market is very, very volatile. So you can't be looking at stable income and capital appreciation in one single lens. I broke it down into two parts. So my first objective was to build a stable income pool and then probably look for capital appreciation. I think when you combine both, it's slightly complicated, at least from my side. I'm in a job. I have largely worked on user and revenue growth. That leads a lot of work, a lot of yours. I can't deploy more than 20-30 minutes a day looking at a stock or so on and so forth. Right? So if you can't trade in direct stocks, the only option left is mutual funds. Mutual fund needs a lot of time. You can't generate passive income or SWP, which is the talk of the town, in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years of time. You need to deploy 50, 20, 30 years, and then probably you look at growth in the mutual funds. So now what's the option that is left, right? The only option left is real estate. In terms of maintenance, I don't know how others look at it. How I look at it and how I feel is that, let's say I have an apartment in a gated community, and that's a let out property. There is someone who's residing. These are mostly working professionals, so rent is something which they pay on that same day when they receive their salaries. That's the beauty of a private job employee. The first thing they want to clear it off is the rent. So you get rentals on time. Maintenance in apartment communities is always rent plus maintenance. So if let's say I have a property whose rent is 30,000 bucks, then it's 30,000 plus maintenance plus electricity. Electricity is always in most of the apartments, it's prepaid. So I don't see it a hustle. And if your rentals are typically 10% below the average price, you'll be always occupied. So I don't see any challenge in terms of maintaining real estate.
Nice. Yeah, I think that perspective I've never thought of. Like, I always thought equity is probably more liquid and, that's the way to go. But I think your argument of you have to stay in that market for 20, 25 years for it to make sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense for me as well now. So
let's say
one other thing.
Is in my mutual fund, can I do SWP? No. Is it a decent passive income generation platform? No. So you need a longer horizon in equities to grow it up and give you a meaningful sum of money. In real estate, it can't be that you can only generate passive income when you have 2 crores, when you have a crore. That's how it is. I mean, probably you can generate a passive income just by purchasing a studio apartment worth 50, 60 lakh rupees, right? That's gonna give you another 50, 20,000 bucks. So here the scope of generating fixed passive income may be a 2-3% lesser than what you are earning in equity in short term. Is worth, because the moment you are getting a passive income of 20-30,000 rupees, you are better placed to pick up your battles. There's something that came in AI, there's in a startup, somebody wants to get you on board, but he's saying that, hey, look, boss, you come at a 50% cut, but I'm giving you XX number of ESOPs. You see it promising, the founders are good, the kind of domain they have picked up is great. Now you can take those kind of bold bets.
Yeah, it gives a lot of flexibility in terms of what kind of work you want to do. Yeah. Also, one thing I found really interesting is that you focus a lot on increasing your income before aggressively investing, right? So, for someone who's earning, let's say, 60,000 per month today, is young, what should they focus on first? Should they focus on investing more, or should they focus on earning more?
They should focus on earning more. Investing is a function that, hey, look, more capital will help you generate more income. Getting a passive income or generating income is always a second order issue. I mean, you can't be optimizing yourself, right? That you are generating 60,000, let's be frugal, save every penny, not doing SIP is a crime, so on and so forth. That's not making any sense. Let's say at an age of 40, if you are able to build something which is giving you 50 lakh rupees a month, why do you need mutual fund or stocks or so on and so forth, or SWP, STP? I don't need it, right? So if I got things right, and I'm able to build something which can give me 15, 20, 30 lakh rupees a month at an age of 40, then all this bullshit is redundant, right? So first 10, 12 years, focus on increasing your income. Do save something, which I'm saying that, hey, look, you should create at least 15, 20, 30,000 rupees kind of a passive income, be it FD, be it debt, be it real estate, whatever that you pick it up, so that your household expenses are sorted. So if you need to sit idle for 3 months of time without a job, then probably your rentals are paid off, you have money to have your food, you have money to travel to your home, so on and so forth. Just sort out that, rest is okay. I mean, the only thing which I would urge everyone who's in the early stage of career, that was just have your 18 to 24 months of emergency corpus. Nothing else. Don't look at returns, early investing. From class 10th standard, you start doing SIP. Don't get into all those models. So just have 24 months of emergency money in whatever shape and form do you have, so that you can take good calls. You don't get an anxiety attacks if you lose your job, and the industry is changing so far. And focus solely on building higher income pools, growing your active income.
Got it. So you did not believe in living frugally and saving and then making that reaching financial independence as early as possible. Was that your thought process or no?
I mean, how does it mean if I'll stop eating today, I'll save a lot of grains for whole of my life? But what if I don't survive? So I'm not saying spend obnoxiously high. You should be disciplined in terms of your spending. Don't do impulsive spends, but I mean, you shouldn't be living very, very frugal. You are earning 5 lakh rupees a month and you are staying in a chawl in Bombay, paying 25,000 rupees, and rest you are doing an SIP. That doesn't make any sense. Don't overspend. Spend lower to your expectations. Live meaningfully. I mean, that's the life that you have, and you are putting a lot of effort to earn, save, invest, all those nuisance. It's just to ensure that you live peacefully, right? Frugally necessarily not always means that you are living happily. At times, frugally means that you are
mostly frugally living is not living happily.
Yeah, you are staying in a stressful job, and then you are coming home. The house is very, very small in a clustered locality. You want to go out, but hey, look, I need to save money. Just save 24 months of your money, at least in the first 5 years of your career, 6 years of your career. Just ensure that you have 12, 18 months of emergency fund. And when I say emergency fund, it's gonna be your usually household expenses. Once you have that, take bold bets, disciplined, not frugally.
Got it. So if a young salaried couple hears your story, right, and they say, okay, we also want to copy Amarendra and choose this real estate path for making passive income, where can they go wrong? Like, what worked for you that might not work for them?
So I think being a high real estate index in my portfolio, I had an advantage that when I started accumulating real estate, the prices were not that obnoxiously high. When I started my career way back 2008, the property prices were still reasonable. You'll be able to afford or look at it. Now the real estate cycle has witnessed a turnaround in the last couple of years. The prices are obnoxiously high. Most of the clusters are unaffordable. I think that's where there is a mess for this generation, especially. But there are a lot of clusters in and around core cities, which probably you can think of, because eventually there is a capacity of a city, right? The city can only absorb X number of commercial activities and Y number of residents. So the city has to grow. So you need to be very cognizant of that, which clusters, which part of the city is growing, and probably you can do those investments in those parts of the city. That will be still affordable. That will be still a moderate ticket size, and you can see appreciation over a 5, 10, 15 years.
Got it. Okay. So let's play a quick rapid fire game. I'll tell you a sentence. You tell me whether to do this or to do that. So if a salaried couple wants fire, what should they focus on first? High income or low fixed expenses?
High income.
In real estate, what is more dangerous? Taking too much loan or buying the wrong property?
Buying the wrong property.
What is harder for a family? Building the fire number or agreeing that the number is enough?
Building the fire number.
If you are starting again today, would you rather have high salary growth or better investment returns?
High salary growth.
If you had to choose one for financial freedom, a bigger net worth or a predictable monthly cash flow, what would that be?
Predictable monthly cash flow.
Got it. Okay. So this was really a helpful conversation, Amarendra. I think your story is not just about 15 crores or real estate, right? The deeper lesson, I think, is that salary alone does not create freedom. It has to be converted into assets, passive income, through discipline, right? So thanks a lot for sharing your story. I think this is going to be great for my listeners.
No, thanks, Meher. It was fun to interact with you. Looking forward, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. If you found this conversation useful, you'll definitely enjoy the next one I've linked here. And if you want more real conversations like this, make sure you subscribe. I'm bringing one of these every week.